Why do humans need friends? When did friendship first appear? Who was the first person to call someone a friend? Where did this extraordinary bond begin? And perhaps the biggest question of all: why would evolution make friendship one of humanity's greatest strengths? Friendship seems so ordinary today that we rarely question it. We celebrate birthdays together, share meals, laugh at jokes, and help each other through difficult times. We often think of friendship as something emotional, a choice we make because it feels good. But what if friendship wasn't created to make us happy? What if it was created to keep us alive? The story begins long before cities, kingdoms, or even recorded history. Millions of years ago, our ancestors lived in a world where survival was never guaranteed. Every day brought new dangers. Predators lurked nearby. Food was uncertain. Injuries could become fatal. A single mistake often meant death. Unlike many animals, humans were not born with impressive natural weapons. We had no sharp claws like lions, no powerful jaws like crocodiles, no thick fur to survive freezing winters, and no incredible speed to outrun danger. Compared to many predators, early humans seemed weak and vulnerable. Yet somehow, this physically ordinary species would eventually explore every continent, build civilizations, invent science, and even walk on the moon. How? The answer was never strength alone. It was cooperation. Scientists believe our earliest ancestors began living in social groups millions of years ago. At first, these groups were small, often consisting of only a few families. But even these simple communities offered enormous advantages. While one person searched for food, another watched for predators. While experienced adults hunted, others protected the young. If someone became injured, they were often cared for instead of abandoned. These may seem like simple acts of kindness today. In the ancient world, they dramatically increased the chances of survival. One person alone could easily become prey. A group could defend itself. One person might fail to find food. Several people searching together had much better odds. This wasn't simply friendship. It was one of evolution's greatest survival strategies. As human brains gradually became larger, cooperation became even more important. Large brains required enormous amounts of energy. Finding enough food became increasingly difficult. Hunters had to communicate silently, plan routes, understand animal behavior, and coordinate their movements. Hunting large animals was almost impossible alone. But together, humans accomplished something remarkable. Some members chased prey toward waiting hunters. Others prepared tools. Others carried food back to camp. Every successful hunt depended on trust. And trust is the foundation of every friendship. Sharing food also became one of humanity's greatest strengths. Many predators guard every meal they catch. Early humans often shared theirs. At first glance, giving away valuable food seems foolish. But evolution rewarded those who shared. A hunter who returned empty-handed today could survive because others had shared yesterday. Tomorrow, the roles might be reversed. This created something unique. Humans learned to invest in one another. Generosity became survival insurance. Friendship became a system of mutual support that no individual could create alone. But friendship wasn't only changing behavior. It was also changing the human brain. Modern neuroscience shows that spending time with trusted companions activates powerful chemical systems inside our bodies. The brain releases dopamine, creating feelings of pleasure. Oxytocin strengthens trust and emotional bonds. Endorphins reduce stress and increase resilience. These aren't accidents. They are evolutionary rewards. Nature encouraged social behavior because individuals living in strong groups survived more successfully than those living alone. This also explains something many people experience today. Loneliness hurts. Not simply emotionally, but physically. Scientists have found that prolonged loneliness increases stress hormones, weakens the immune system, disrupts sleep, and raises the risk of anxiety and depression. From an evolutionary perspective, this makes perfect sense. For most of human history, isolation often meant danger. If you became separated from your group, your chances of surviving predators, illness, or starvation dropped dramatically. Your brain evolved to treat loneliness like hunger or thirst. It became an alarm system urging you to reconnect before it was too late. As thousands of generations passed, friendship transformed human society in ways our ancestors could never have imagined. People no longer worked together only to survive. They began building permanent settlements. Farmers exchanged knowledge. Craftsmen shared skills. Merchants developed trust with strangers. Communities expanded into villages. Villages became cities. Cities became civilizations. Every great civilization in history depended upon cooperation. The pyramids of Egypt were not built by one extraordinary individual. Thousands of workers coordinated their efforts over many years. The Great Wall of China required generations of planning and labor. Ancient roads, temples, irrigation systems, libraries, and ships all depended upon people trusting one another enough to work toward shared goals. In many ways, civilization itself is friendship on a much larger scale. Even language may have evolved partly because of friendship. Communication allowed humans to teach one another. Instead of every generation learning everything from the beginning, knowledge could be passed forward. Children learned from parents. Apprentices learned from masters. Stories became history. Experience became wisdom. One lifetime could benefit the next. No other species has developed cooperation on such an enormous scale. Millions of complete strangers can work together today because trust has been expanding for countless generations. Governments, businesses, universities, hospitals, scientific research. Every one of them depends upon cooperation between people who may never even meet. Yet despite all our technology, the ancient need for friendship has never disappeared. Today we can cross oceans in hours, communicate across continents instantly, and live in cities filled with millions of people. Yet many still experience profound loneliness. Why? Because our brains were shaped long before modern life existed. Evolution did not design us merely to exchange information. It designed us to build genuine relationships. To laugh together. To solve problems together. To comfort one another during hardship. The human need for belonging remains exactly as important as it was thousands of generations ago. Perhaps that is the greatest lesson hidden within our evolutionary history. Humanity did not become the dominant species because we were the fastest, the strongest, or the most dangerous. We became extraordinary because we learned something far more powerful. We learned to trust, to cooperate, to care for one another. Every great discovery, every civilization, every scientific breakthrough, every remarkable achievement stands upon countless friendships formed throughout history. So the next time you share a conversation, help a stranger, or stand beside someone during a difficult moment, remember that you are participating in one of humanity's oldest traditions. Friendship is not merely a social habit. It is one of the greatest evolutionary inventions ever created. Because history teaches us a simple truth. A single human can survive for a while. But together, humans changed the world. And perhaps the true measure of civilization has never been how advanced we become, but how well we stand beside one another.